Tribal Health and Human Services Department of the Confederated Salish and Kootenai Tribes is proud to present Good Medicine, a program dedicated to the wellness of the Flathead Nation. The mission is summarized quite simply: a healthier people, a stronger nation. We will strive to make Good Medicine a reliable source of ideas and information about health issues so that everyone can make informed decisions about their own lifestyle and health care. You will meet health professionals, tribal government and spiritual leaders, and interesting people from the tribal community discussing important health issues that profoundly affect us all.
Hello, this is Good Medicine. I'm your host, Larry Pitts. Today we have a distinguished guest, as always. It's Marjorie Bear Don't Walk, the Director of Tribal Health and Human Services. And Marjorie, I would serenade you today and sing Happy Anniversary, Baby, but I don't want to lose the 27 people that we have watching the program. And so you have been aboard now for 6 months, Marjorie. You were my first program back in December, and we talked about your vision for the future. And so today, first of all, I'm sure you want to say hello to your grandchild, so go ahead and say hello. And
my grandchild's name is Rose, but she doesn't watch the program. She's not in the viewing vicinity.
Oh, well, you can get a tape for her.
Okay.
We'll do that for you. But, you know, Marjorie, back in December, when the first time I had you on the show, and you were talking about what your vision for Tribal Health and Human Service was going to be. You want to talk about what's gone on towards that vision this first 6 months?
I guess that I've spent a lot of time learning, and I think we've accomplished some important things. I was told a couple of things as advice when I came on board, and one of them was that that the honeymoon will be short. So if you're going to do something, you'd better go for it. I went for it, and the honeymoon was short.
Very short, wasn't it?
But in spite of what it looks like that's happening at Tribal Health and Human Services, we have accomplished a lot. Teresa Wall-McDonald, who handles the finances for Tribal Health, has been negotiating discounts with the hospital and doctors. And we have an unbelievable number of 900 vendors that our clients use for services, and that's a number that's very unmanageable. And so we also have been paying full price, which probably is not being done by anybody else. I know that IHS doesn't pay full price, and I know that the insurance companies don't. Medicare, Medicaid, that kind of thing.
HMOs are very popular now. So we've been negotiating, and we've signed memorandums of agreement with numerous vendors, and we expect the discount to be fairly substantial the first year. And we're only negotiating through the end of the year, and then we'll negotiate new rates after we've got a little experience. When we're negotiating these contracts, we've also included areas in which I've received lots of complaints about, such as the way the clients are treated at the hospitals or by certain doctors and that kind of thing. And so we have added to the contracts cultural sensitivity, and we have added a clause that deals with dealing with complaints. And so we're hoping that the people we serve who get health care will get better health care, and that they'll have a way of getting their needs met in a more positive way. So right now what you're saying is, in place right now, there really is no set protocol that has been established in the past. So they brought Marjorie Bear Don't Walk in from Billings and said, we need some protocol set.
They didn't bring me in from Billings. I just came willingly.
Right.
I've wanted to move home for a long time, you know, so that's why I came back. But I really didn't have a lot of goals. I worked for the Tribal Council, and they told me some areas when I
first started that they wanted dealt with, and I've been trying to do that. But in the compacting is fairly new, and so we're living through some of the growing pains that some of the other compacts are also. And so when you're the first generation, you're going to deal with the growing pains of it all, and we certainly are. And I think I've said before that Mickey Pablo said at one time that there was a great deal of time and money put into planning to take over and compact, but there was not a lot of money put into implementing the compact. And so that's kind of where we are.
In fact, at that one council meeting, I remember he even apologized to the tribal health staff about, you know, the override money, the year-end money, that they used to establish new departments with that, and that might have been the wrong attitude, and and so you've inherited a lot of program, a lot of people. And
a lot of bureaucracy that came with the programs, the IHS bureaucracy, the social services bureaucracy that was with BIA, and lots of programs that worked independently, and so in the compacting they were put together, and so it's been a difficult task to get everyone to coordinate and work as a team, and that working as a team is the most efficient thing we can do, and it is the only way that we can provide adequate care to the people we serve.
Now, as a director, when you came in, you saw the red tape, you saw the failures, and you saw the successes. How did you, view all this? I mean, how did you, think that you were going to pull it together like you have been doing?
I didn't think. That's probably the key.
Okay.
I don't think that it's been mostly learning and just working day by day. I mean, it's really been a difficult process of dealing with a tremendous amount of issues that have gone on for over a number of years. And so I inherited programs that were a challenge, let's say. So 6 months has gone by very rapidly, and probably the most improvement that I see deals with the area of talking about the services that we're going to do. And even though we've been through a long, painful process for the past 6 months, the attitude by the staff, for the most part, is happier now than it was, say, 2 months ago. I think we're over the hump, and I think we're...
Well, I see support, and I see people are seeing light at the end of the tunnel. Going back to contracts, I was involved slightly because I was around the people, and I know for the last 2 years they were trying to develop contracts. How were you able to pull that off in 4 months?
I think all of the work that's been done prior had gotten us right to this point. And it's taken a long time for people to get used to the idea that we have such control. And we've never really taken the control that we have. And we spend a great deal of money in this area. From Kalispell to Missoula, the millions that the tribe contributes to the economy is massive. And I think we need to be treated with a great deal more respect. And I don't think we realize the power of the dollar, and that our people could receive more care for the same dollar if we did some unique contracting, or it's at least unique for us.
Financing.
Financing, right.
Now, what about, you were talking a little bit earlier about cultural sensitivity. How have you addressed that? I know that, but maybe the people out there don't know some of the things that you've been directing and pushing us towards.
Well, I've been meeting with the hospital administrators, and I visited Kalispell Regional not too long ago, and I have been at St. Pat's. And I've been to community also, and I've been to St. Luke's, St. Joe's. I think the problem that we face and will continue to face for a long time is the institutional racism that exists in Montana. People grow up not valuing Indian people or not valuing minority people. And so you learn that it's okay to treat them with less respect. And so when we pay for care, we expect to get the best care. We've been paying full price.
Right.
And so if I get complaints that people are being treated with disrespect or not being treated or not receiving care or being shuffled in one door out the other, and we're giving these facilities a great deal of money, I'm going to take that fairly seriously. And so I have sent some people to places where I've heard of complaints or I've gone myself, and we're talking openly about them. I believe that all of our people deserve equal care. I believe that if you have a drug or alcohol problem, or if you have other problems, that you come in for services as a human being, and that you deserve health care, and that you are not to be excluded or shoveled out the door just because you have a problem.
So there's accountability.
Right.
You know, and the dollar sometimes is the accountability to, you know, healthcare is a financial institution anymore.
Right.
And it's, you know, if they don't make money, they shut the hospital down or the clinic, so.
Well, there are doctors also, you know, I don't think people are trained to provide cultural sensitive health care, and it's time they are.
Okay.
So we are working with people, and some of the hospitals have been very open, and we've had quite a bit of dialogue, and everyone knows that it's included in all of the contracts.
Now, what about cultural sensitivity within ourselves?
Well, ourselves is the word. I think that we have learned to be prejudiced also. If you're surrounded by someone who does not like Indian people, or someone who doesn't like women, or someone who just doesn't like anyone with skin color, or, well, I think skinny people is justified, actually. Then you learn to be racist, because you learn from the people who model for you. You don't learn as much by reading, you don't learn as much by somebody telling you something, you learn by what you see. And so if the people who you are around are racist, you learn to become a racist. And if you're the person that they're racist against, you actually learn to be racist toward yourself. You learn not to value Indians, you learn not to value women. And so if you're both of those things, then you're taught that you're not as valuable. And so then you have people who don't take care of themselves because they've been taught they're not valuable. So the racism that we all experienced and have experienced for 500 years has taken a toll. And we have dramatic health problems. We have a 50% chance of having gallbladder problems because of our diet. We have a 50% chance of getting diabetes because of our diet. We have health problems that we never had a generation ago. And so some of the things we do now that we didn't used to do, and that contribute to our health problems, if we don't feel good about ourselves, then it's okay to hurt ourselves. So we drink and smoke and all those things that are behavior-related activities that are negative. And if you have a negative view of yourself, you're going to do those things, you know. So you need to comfort yourself with something. Mine is chocolate, but, you know.
Yeah, well, you know, and as you were saying that, I was, you know, just thinking about, I've heard, and I use it quite often, you know, it's easy to talk the talk, but when you start to walk the walk, it's a lot different.
Right.
You know, and as we start to make ourselves strong within ourselves, that we won't even accept an insult because it has nothing to do with us. And that's a real positive. You just, you know, a couple of weeks ago we had our show on the GONA training, which you happened to bring in, and I want to thank you for that again because it was really powerful in my life. How do you see GONA starting to affect our tribal health and human services?
GONA stands for Gathering of Native Americans, which is the process of community healing. And actually GONA is probably a spin-off from the Blue Bay Project. CSAP funded both of them, and the curriculum for GONA is for healing. It is saying to the people, you go through a process of learning to belong and learning to face some of the things we need to face, and then getting on with your life. And it's basically about a process in which we accept what has happened, and we move ahead in a positive manner. And so, as far as healthcare is concerned, do you remember that famous Indian person that I quoted to you last time? Who was it? Plato, who said,
right, yes,
in order to heal the body, you must first heal the mind. And so I believe that it's going to take a great deal of work for us to feel better about ourselves. And if we feel better about ourselves, our health care is going to cost less.
All right. In fact, yeah, when you said it, I remember that Indian. My mind was just running here for a minute, like, what Indian was she talking about? Well, on that note, Marjorie, we're going to take a quick break here so that they can run a PSA for us.
Okay.
And we'll be right back after this break. So thanks, Marjorie.
Good shot. You're both shooting really well. It takes a lot of practice to be good with a bow and arrow.
Yeah, I remember that from our bow hunter education class.
This is a lot of fun. Let's shoot some more.
Montana Bowhunters Association reminds all first-time bowhunters that completion of a National Bowhunters Education Foundation course is required before a bow license can be obtained. Contact your nearest Fish, Wildlife, and Parks regional office for the schedule of classes near you.
And I've got Marjorie Bear Don't Walk after our PSA there. Hopefully you didn't run off to the kitchen and got me late or whatever. Marjorie, public relations, you know, as I travel, I was in one of the hospitals the other day and they're having a meeting in there, and some of the local facilities are, I'm sure, sweating just a little bit because they're not used to change. How are you going to deal with public relations with the local hospitals, local doctors?
Well, we've promised the council that we're going to put out some educational material for the clients first. We're concerned that the clients need to know how some of the changes will affect them. And we're talking to all of the people on a regular basis. And we've made it real clear the direction we're going. And it is not our plan to affect any medical business. Our only plan is to get better service at less cost for our people, and so
which makes it go further.
Right.
And hopefully we won't be on the list, you know, the different levels so long.
Right. That's a concern to me. The elective surgery, people waiting to get surgery, that doesn't really make sense to me, and I'm hoping at some point that we deal with that issue, but that's not something we're going to do right now.
You know, well, that's something I think we could just cover right now too. Is, you know, for the people who are watching, you know, you're not wanting to deny them services, you know, and as we become better stewards of our money, then those services will last longer.
We hope. The cost of medical care has gone up dramatically. And so with inflation, and we get the same amount of dollars, something has to give. That's all there is to it. And so we have to provide more efficient care. And we're trying to do it with the least amount of problems, but change is very difficult for everybody, you know. And so change has been excruciating for some people, but I guess people don't think that we change every day. We get a little older, life changes, and we have to adjust. There's no way around it. And so we're becoming a population of older people. Baby boomers are getting old. I happen to be a baby boomer. I know you're much too young to be one.
Well, we know that, thank you.
But we're becoming an older generation, and older people usually have more medical problems unless they take care of themselves. And so we need to do more prevention. We need to do more health education.
So there's no truth that you want to shut down all the fitness centers and you know, get rid of all healthy things and just pay bills, right?
No, I'd really like to mandate everybody to the fitness centers.
Oh, you know what my belief on that? We should be the busiest place on the reservation.
Really should, but we can do healthy things. We can walk around our buildings. We can do physical labor. We can get off the couch. We can get out of our chair. You know, in the old days, would we have gone to a fitness center?
No.
No, and would we have eaten all the junk we're eating today?
Yeah.
You know, probably we eat less than 5% of what our grandparents or great-grandparents ate. I mean, we're eating a tremendous amount of chemicals and sugar and grease, and so it's causing us great health problems.
There's consequence to our choice.
That's right.
In fact, it was funny today at the fitness center, I use his name, Sammy Matt was in, and he's working out, and he's healthier now at 160 pounds than he was at 135.
Really?
And he has a regimen that he does of push-ups and dips and this kind of stuff that he could do without the machines, and he talks about that and laughs about it. So what you're really saying is truth, you know. So how do we become more, consumer friendly, we in tribal health?
We need to be happier, friendlier, nicer to each other, and we need to treat each other as if we really are relatives. You know, we really are a member of the same people. And I guess it's easier to be to worry, to try to stop change, to be negative, and it's kind of I think the research shows that negativity just kind of flies through an area or through a group. You know, if we could do the same thing with positive thinking and being happier, it would be nice. But we owe the people that we work for to be friendly to the people who come there, to be helpful, to try to do the best we can. And we cannot do that by being crabby looking, you know.
And do you see these changes happening? Do you see a more positive flow happening down at Tribal Health now?
Well, the gang that works in my wing seem to be having far too much fun. So I think maybe we've gone too far. No.
Yeah, well, I heard that you made some rude comment the other day. You're having a managers meeting when I was whistling out in the hallway.
So there's that Larry interrupting again, yeah.
That's right. Well, that's my announcement that I'm in the building.
Or a bird that we've got in there, yeah.
Yes, that's right.
I think that we're doing better. I think that people are happier in some ways. I think the trainings have helped. One thing I believe is that we all need as much training as possible. That's very difficult on a restricted budget, though.
Very much so. What about consumer confidence? How do we address that in tribal health?
Well, I think that's going to take a lot of time. Along with the complaints that I get on a daily basis, there are a lot of people who call and stop by who tell me that they're happy with the services they got, that they like the employees that are going out to their house or working with them, or that they got good service someplace, and that's been really nice. And when there was the last crisis we had over the unhappiness at Tribal Health, there was a tremendous amount of support from the people.
There was. You know, I know in my own personal business that I run, I know that everything that is negative comes back at you about 10 people, and everything that's positive is only 3. That's why it's so hard to, so important to stay with the positives, and and I appreciate that, that we're moving in that direction. Where do you see us in a year from now? We're sitting back on this couch and say, geez, a year ago we talked about this. Give me some envisionment.
I hope that we're not facing as big a budget crisis as we are. We're facing as big a budget crisis as we did last year because we're doing the same thing. If you do the same thing, you get the same results, So we're hoping with the discounts and the contracts that will save us some money. We also hope that we will learn to conduct the business that we do more efficiently, and we hope that will save us some money. And I hope that we have some new procedures in how we handle surgeries and electives, and I would be really unhappy if I had an elective surgery and I was on the list and I was down the list and had to wait because I think it's very stressful to people.
You know, I guess what I'm hearing too is that right now what we're doing is we're sort of treading the water. I know we're waiting for the consultants to come in, the council mandated, and that's going to take 45 days, and so we can't really go forward with a lot of direction because of that. Do you see things as, after that happens, starting to get more in cement, more policy and procedure being set?
Yeah, I'm sure that that will happen. Just the budget process that's ongoing with the tribe for the next year, we're going to look at every program as far as the functions and the activities and have that to council in a couple of weeks. So I think the more we look at ourselves and the more we deal with what it is we do, that we can do it more efficiently. And so there is a mandate there to do that within the next couple of weeks. And the problem with it is that tribal health has the most programs to look at and the most work to do. And so, but we'll be able to do it easy.
Well, and we tend to affect every individual on the reservation.
Right.
You know, land services doesn't affect everybody. Forestry doesn't affect everybody. Health does.
Right.
You know, Marjorie, what do you think is going to happen in the world or the United States in health in the next, we got about a minute and a half, so.
Well, you know, when you vote, you really do make a difference. And there are a lot of people who have no respect for Indians or treaties, and we're the only people who get health services based on treaty rights, based on owning 100% of the United States at one time, and now we're down to owning, what is it, 2%?
2%, yeah.
So Congress needs to be educated constantly that there are treaty obligations for Indian people, and it really looks like the budget is going to be the same, and so with inflation and all of the costs
increases
in medical care, we're losing ground.
Okay. Well, Marjorie, we're just out of time now, so I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank you for the first 6 months. Let's have you back in 6 months again, besides the Let's Ask Marjorie segments. And, you know, if you want to come back and be a guest, just let me know. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. And I want to thank everybody out there. I hope today was an informative program for you. It was good for me. And we'll see you next week. Thank you very much. Goodbye now.
And thank you, Larry. No rate.
Good Medicine is your program. We hope you watch this and subsequent programs to stay informed about your health care. And we'd like to hear from you about how we're doing. Please direct any comments or suggestions you have to us. You can reach us at